Every day we have to read these articles where some celebrity is complaining about what some unnamed person from 20 years ago said to them. And I just wonder why anyone who writes these articles feels like it's in any way shocking anymore, because it's not.
Or that we should care. Like, it's very presumptuous to think that we should care about your stupid little sob story about something rude that was said to you on a film set 12 years ago.
And the other part that I thought was funny about this is, like, it's literally her winning an award. You are the bourgeoisie. You are the elites now.
Yeah.
And this is what it says. Sarah Snook says she was too young and naive to challenge producer who berated her for eating a slice of chocolate cake years ago. Women will just hold on to shit forever. They will never forget. Everything you've ever said has been categorized, collated, and stored away for later use against you, gentlemen.
Well, maybe this is what happens when, you know, a woman of her age is not married. She doesn't have resentments built up against a husband. She has to resent everybody else. It says the 36-year-old Succession star said that she now takes on a totally different attitude. Quote, "I eat whatever I want. It's my own body and my choice." But back then, she was trying to make her way in show business. She said the producer, who she will not name, who berated her for eating a piece of chocolate cake in front of cast and crew, later telling her, "We don't really want you because you're a nobody, but the director and the writer think you're good for the role." And she won't name who this was.
I guess this is not.
She said,
"This is not a sexual assault case where you're risking defamation. Just name the person."
She said, "I was too young and naive. That's the unfortunate situation when a person is in a position of authority, taking advantage, mindlessly saying something that could be taken the wrong way or taken on in a certain context that holds with that person for the rest of their life. Because you were shamed for eating a piece of chocolate cake." All of that. Taking advantage. It's such strong language.
That's the issue I had with it.
To say it annoyed you a little bit is an understatement, though.
Yes,
like, you were pissed.
Well, look, we read these stories all the time, and I just wonder, like you mentioned the other day, like the men are just never gonna mention this stuff. They're just not.
They appear stoic. They appear like they have a backbone.
No one would care if a man complained about this stuff. But the sad fact of the matter is you shouldn't care whether men or women complain about this stuff, because these are the elite celebrities that look down on you anyways. This is absolutely ridiculous. Also, you're in a visual medium. If he's a producer, that means he's the one fronting the bill to get this made, which means his opinion matters, whether you like it or not.
For the record, this actress is overweight. Just saying.
Whether you like it or not, you're going to have interactions with your bosses that are not going to be great. Everyone has them. But the idea that one class of celebrity or human being has like more of a claim to this grievance than others is ridiculous and stupid.
You know, one time Tim shamed me for eating a piece of chocolate cake.
I hate it when he does that.
Like, if you are working for someone else, you should probably leave your ego at the door. Like, when I'm making when I'm writing all that remain songs, I get the final say. So I can go ahead and say, this is how it's going to be. This is not how it's going to be. When I do a feature for someone else, if someone else is like, and I've been paid to sing on other people's songs and stuff, when I go there, I do what they want. I sing the way they want me to sing, and they direct me. Unless they say, hey, Phil, we want you to do this because we like what you do. Otherwise, I do what they say. Like, I don't understand why other artists can't do that. Like, if you're the producer, then you have an idea for how the performance is going to be. Fine. If you're not, if you're just an actor who's being paid and the director is telling you to do something, do what they say.
Also, well, a lot of these producers and directors and casting directors in Hollywood now, they don't even have the balls that they used to have decades past, where, you know, it's the same entitlement that Renee Rapp brought into Mean Girls, playing Regina George as an overweight woman. I am sure that any director or producer on that project, if they even, had the thought that she should lose some weight for the role, they would never dare say it in this day and age. Like, that is not part of the culture anymore. It is not acceptable, and she would have put them on blast. So there's also another example they added here from a Ted Lasso star, Hannah Waddingham. So this says she shares a drama teacher's insult that turned her into a TV star. The drama teacher once told her that she looks like one side of her face has had a stroke. And then there was another story from Claire Foy, who plays, I don't know what she plays, on The Crown on Netflix. She opened up about someone who gave her the worst note she has ever received from a director, telling her to start acting, darling.
That's so elitist too. That's even lamer. Anyways,
you can hear the British accent.
The other thing about this is like, I do think that we are long past the age where back in the day, like, this is the type of thing that I get it. Like, you want to complain to your friends, I guess. Like, I get it. You get it off your chest, right? But the idea was that, first of all, ego-wise, you hold these things and they drive you. And the idea of externalizing actually removes the power that you get from it. Like, you can grow from experiences like this because they make you work harder. But usually when you vocalize it and you put it into the ether, that actually takes away the power that it can have for you. Kind of in the same way when you get excited about doing a task, but then you talk about doing it and it deflates the idea of actually doing it, then just talking about it removes your motivation. You can use these types of things as fuel to get better at what you're doing. The problem is the culture doesn't want you to get better anymore. They want you to complain because you're supposed to be accepted perfectly all the time, just the way you were. There's also a lack of, like, look, the producer is fronting the money. He can afford to be unprofessional from time to time. You, the actor, who is constantly looking for work, constantly having to audition, constantly having to put yourself out there, that is an unenviable position to find yourself in, but it's part of the job, and it's why when you do it well, when you get a lot of work, you'll end up being paid handsomely for it if you're among the class that actually make it that far. Granted, most don't make it to that level within the industry, but every job has certain drawbacks. And there's just something about the fact that every day we have to read at least 2 articles like this from somebody who's complaining about something that's so minor. This isn't a sexual assault claim. This isn't somebody complaining that a producer took advantage of her. This is somebody said something mean to me on the playground one day, and now I'm going to use Deadline as a way to push myself up to the next rung in Hollywood by being a victim.
She's using the same language that an actual victim would be entitled to use. Exactly. She said that this man was taking advantage of her.
And she was too young and naive.
That is extremely loaded language. Absolutely. And yeah, these days we're conditioned to think that, you know, whoever is criticizing us is jealous or they're insecure. And if you think that everyone who dislikes you is just jealous, you're a narcissist. And you're told that, you know, whenever your shortfalls are pointed out to you, it's actually not true because you're perfect just the way you are and there's no room for improvement.
Yeah.
And
Horrible.
Even if someone is criticizing you on grounds that are totally bogus, there's no need to hold on to that for the rest of your life and then air it in the media for people to feel sorry for you. Like, have you never, like, gone through actual adversity in your life?
Yeah.
That this is what stuck out to you as, like, some kind of formative trauma? It's insane.
It's also like, I'm going to read this $10 super chat here, even though it's out of order here because it's relevant. Yesterday on Joe Rogan's podcast, Bobby Lee brought up a director that said some crazy racist stuff, but wouldn't name them. Yet he was cool with saying Michael Bay grabbed his face and yelled a lot. There's also the oppression Olympics that play a role here. And being a woman or being a minority would put you higher on the scale, so speaking about it will give you more credit. If this stuff happens to Jake Gyllenhaal or if it happens to like a white male actor, there's not going to be the sympathy for them. Nobody's going to care, right? Like, nobody's going to give a crap. Nor should they. They shouldn't give a crap either way about your complaints, right?
Yes.
You have a job. Do your job.
Oh, and of course, in the same interview, Deadline asked Sarah Snook for her personal opinion on these Oscars snubs toward Barbie. And she said, "I was so proud of Margot Robbie when I saw the film. It was my first outing as a new mom. I was away from my daughter for 3 hours and spent the entire time just crying, and not just because of the hormones. I'm disappointed for her, but proud as a fellow Aussie."
I eat whatever I want. It's my own body. It's my own choice. You are in a visual medium. You do not always get to eat exactly what you want.
That's the thing that's frustrating. It's I'm going to eat what I want, and then if I don't get the jobs that I want, it's someone else's fault, and everyone should feel bad for me. It's such
Also,
a
like,
frustrating perspective to have.
No one should eat whatever they want. If everyone ate whatever they wanted to eat at any time that they wanted to eat it, we would all be 400 pounds.
Take a cue from the men in Hollywood who get superhero roles, who then go on these extreme diets, get on the HGH and the TRT, and immediately start insane workout regimes because it's their job. And one of the things that I find funny is they always have these arguments where Zach from Comics Matter made a post about like Kumail Nanjiani got into super good shape to be in the Eternals, and he's like, this dweeby looking dude got into really good shape. What's your excuse? And everyone's saying like, well, it's his job, so it's easier for him. Yes, exactly. It's his job. He was given a role. Those roles have certain requirements. You as a man need to put on X amount of muscle. I think Alan Richardson said it was like 10 or 20 pounds of muscle or something like that to play Reacher, right? And they don't complain. They see it as a challenge. But if you were to ask a woman, we need you to be this size to play this role, it would never be accepted to do that anymore.
I don't
It just
know.
wouldn't.
I hear Ozempic calling. Ozempic.
Oh, now do you know who the most recent person is to have to deny Ozempic rumors?
Who?
50 Cent. Oh yeah,
Oh.
50 Cent's like, I don't take Ozempic.
Has he gone through some dramatic weight
He's
loss
lost a lot of
recently?
weight recently. I never really thought of him as fat though. He was always just muscular.
I thought he was like a lifter. Was he a heavy guy?
He's a pretty big dude.
Because if you look at Busta Rhymes, you might mistake for fat if he's wearing like a big shirt, but that man has got a lot of muscle on him. He's a big boy.
Yeah. So you see this type of stuff, and I just wonder who is this for? Who is this for? You're not ingratiating yourself to the general.
Self-involved crybabies.
You're not Well, that's the problem, though. These are the people that think of themselves as the everyday person. They don't realize that they are not.
Laughable.
They are the elites. That they are the ivory tower, which I find particularly hilarious and lacking a distinct amount of self-awareness.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.